It's time to relax and unwind with a full body flexibility routine to calm the nervous system, improve your range of motion, and get ready for sleep. You might want to have a couple of yoga blocks or some cushions to bolster out some of these positions. Other than that, some time and space, and let's jump into this routine. We're going to need to start seated. So if you can't sit comfortably cross-legged, feel free to grab a yoga block, place it under your hips, or simply uncross your legs and let them go wherever. We're just going to support ourselves with the arms, try to lift the chest up, and then we're just going to bring some movement into the neck. So just let it lean to one side. As we're doing this, we just want to bring some attention to the breath. Just slow it down. Nice deep inhale through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. As we're going from side to side now, we can bring a little bit more movement in. We actually just lean the whole body slightly to the side. But still think of this movement as coming from the neck, and then the body follows. We're just going to move back and forth for about a minute, just loosening up some of that tension from the neck before we jump into the other stretches. Again, try to sort of move as you change breath. The idea here is as we're reaching away with the head, we're sort of trying to keep that other shoulder pulling away so we get a nice stretch over the neck. So just one more per side now. Perfect. If you're not cross-legged already, we are going to want to be cross-legged. We're going to take our right leg, cross it over. We're going to take our left leg and we're going to place it on the other side of the knee. It's going to bring us into sort of a bit of a figure 4 position. From here, you're just going to try and hug your front leg. So we're going to start off with sternum going towards the knee. Just try to hug it, get it as close as possible. If you're kind of struggling to stay in this position, just have one hand out to the side and just try to lean your weight into this leg. So we're going to sit and hold. There's a lot of nice passive positions here, and the goal is not necessarily to push your range of motion as much as possible. We want to get into a position where now we're feeling a stretch over the hip. We're going to hold it for 2 minutes in total, and I want you to think about breathing nice and deeply. Try to think about breathing kind of towards the area of stretch, and we're just going to look for that stretch sensation to sort of dissipate over that 2 minutes. Maybe go from a 6 or a 7 out of 10 to just a couple, like a 2 or 3 out of 10. So we're kind of just looking for this softening. If you don't feel like you can hold this position for 2 minutes, then just come out of the stretch a little bit. Make it a little bit easier on yourself, get comfortable, get a cushion involved if you need to. And then every time you're sort of exhaling, try to feel that you can move potentially a little bit deeper. In this instance, we're kind of looking for that right shoulder now just to drop down towards the ground. Another 20 seconds here. Perfect. So we're just going to swap sides, exactly the same position. So come back to that starting position. We're now going to take left leg, cross it under. That right foot's going to come over. And we're going to try and hug this right leg now, if we can do. If you need to have just a bit of support with the hand, absolutely not a problem. But try to get that sternum, first of all, facing towards the knee. Give ourselves a nice hug. Again, don't go too hard too early. You're going to be sitting here for a couple of minutes. And again, just bring that awareness back to your breathing and try to build some calm here. Each time you exhale, just try to feel that you're consciously softening or just feeling that resistance that the stretch is giving you to sort of go away. If we can do, try to feel that left shoulder moving a little bit down towards the ground. And again, breathing down into the area of stretch, so trying to breathe down into the hip. Perfect, we're going to come out of that one now. We're going to move into a lunge position. So I'm going to take both hands in a plank position. We started with the left-hand side, so we're going to start with the right leg forward on this one. Step up to the hands, nice and strong and supported with your left arm. We're just going to let this left hip drop down towards the ground and let our right leg just drop out to the side. So we're sort of feeling this gap that we've created, we're gonna let gravity just pull our body into this position. So we're gonna get a nice stretch going over the hip flexor, potentially down into the lower back as well. And again, we're just gonna breathe. So nice deep inhale. Again, trying to breathe down kind of into this belly, bottom right hand corner, or bottom left hand corner of your belly. And every time you exhale, just feel kind of everything soft. You can play a little bit here with sort of, you can either twist kind of the torso going into your right leg, or you can think just about staying torso forward. The more you twist, the more it's going to kind of bring the lower back in. But just have a little play about, maybe see where you feel that restriction. Just another 15 seconds here. Okay, we're going to swap sides now. So come back with that right leg. We're going to have left leg come forward, and same thing. We're going to have right arm on the ground. Let the left knee just drop out to the side. Create this space for that right hip to pull down to the floor. Again, just moving, changing the direction of where that sternum is. The more we twist into this leg, the more it's going to shift onto the lower back. So last breath here, nice deep breath down into the belly. And we're going to exhale, we're going to switch around, we're going to be sat just on the floor. I want you to come up just with the legs bent. So we'll try to feel like you can waddle your hips and get the pelvis rotating a bit, so we're sat more on the hamstrings rather than rounded onto our back. We're going to take a nice hug, so I'm going to get both my arms around the back of my legs, and then from here I'm just going to let my feet kind of shuffle out a bit. So I'm going to keep this connection, this is a bind, I'm not going to let go. I'm just going to let my feet wiggle out or slide out until I get to a point of stretch. But most importantly, we're trying to keep this sort of connection. And you're going to have now a stretch in the hamstrings, but also going into the lower back. I'm just going to pause here. I'm going to take a nice deep breath. I want you to think about pressing the heels down into the ground, sort of creating some tension in the hamstrings. Only sort of like 10% effort, 20% effort, gradually building to 30 or 40% effort as you inhale. And you're going to exhale, and you're just going to let yourself shift a bit deeper if you can do. I'm going to repeat that once more. So again, nice inhale, 5 seconds, just press those heels down to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just going to exhale and just try to relax a little bit more into it. Remember, we're holding this position for an extended duration, so if you feel that you're really at the edge of your stretch, just come out a little bit, go back to a softer position. You're trying to wind down, not ramp up the nervous system. So, last deep breath here. Perfect. So we're going to move now just into a lying position. So feet in the same position, nice tucked up. We're just going to let both knees drop to one side. So we're going to go left side first. Exhale. Try as much as you can do to keep both shoulders on the ground. Pick it back up. Just drop to the other side. So if you feel that maybe on one side or both sides that as you're dropping those knees down, the opposite shoulder is wanting to lift up, you're just lacking a little bit of lower back flexibility is something that maybe you want to work on. I'm going to swap to dropping to the left hand side. I'm going to stay in this one. I'm going to let my left leg go straight. My right leg's going to come up now. I'm going to take my right hand. I'm going to try and just draw across the floor, across my chest. I'm going to try and reach my right shoulder down towards the ground. Extend my arm. If your leg is wanting to lift up, just place your other hand underneath. Give it a little bit of support. And again, we're going to kind of try and basically work with our breath. So I'm going to take a nice deep inhale. Again, trying to inhale kind of the area of stretch that's going to be over this lower back, over the chest. As you exhale, you're just going to try and reach that hand. You're going to try and drop the knee. You should notice that each time you exhale, you're able just to reach and drop that knee that a little bit further. We're going to do one more breath here before we swap sides. So again, nice deep breath right into the belly. Okay, come back to the center. Bring those knees back up. We're going to drop both now to the right hand side. You're going to let your right leg go straight. Left leg's going to come over. Again, supporting if you need to with that other arm. You're going to draw all the way over the chest. Drive the left arm down towards the ground. Straighten out. And the same thing, we're going to try and take a nice deep breath. And then you're going to reach with the hand and try to let that knee drop. It's going to be 4 breaths here, so no need to push it on the first one, just let the breathing do its work. If you want to, you can give yourself a little bit of assistance just with this right arm on top of the knee, just give it a little bit of a pull down. We're going to move on to the last position now. We're going to stay lying down. We're going to bring both feet together. Bring it up nice and tight towards legs. We're just going to let both legs drop out to the side. You can wiggle a little bit, but just let gravity pull the knees out so we get a little bit of a stretch over the adductors. If you want to give yourself some assistance, pressing down just gently, not maximum effort with the hands. I'm just going to hold this for a further 5 breaths. But realistically, you can hold this as long as you want to, if you feel comfortable. Just want to sit for 3 to 5 minutes and just breathe. That is basically the routine. Feel free to stay in that position for a few more minutes, but ease yourself out of it and take that relaxed energy to sleep better, recover better, so you can go do your sport. Happy stretching as always. I'll catch you in the next one.